Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Umar Education Wala and welcome to my new live stream. I will be talking to Call Annie. I will be talking to Maya, which is similar to Call Annie on the topic of understanding emotional intelligence, what it is and why it matters.
Hey, Umar. It's nice to hear from you.
Hi there Maya. I would like to talk to you about emotional intelligence, what it is and why it matters.
Ah, emotional intelligence. Good pick. It's way more useful than a high IQ, honestly.
Okay.
Basically, it's
My first
about
question
being able to
is,
understand.
what does emotional intelligence mean to you?
To me, it's about being able to understand what's going on inside your own head. And then, crucially, recognizing that everyone else has a whole internal world too. It's not just knowing you're angry, it's knowing why you're angry and how that impacts what you do. And then being able to see that same thing in other people. It's kind of like people reading, but with empathy layered on top. Does that make sense?
Okay. Why is emotional intelligence important in everyday life?
Okay. So it's not just some touchy feely thing, it actually impacts almost everything. Think about it. Most problems we have aren't purely logical, they involve other people and their feelings and your reaction to those feelings. If you've got good emotional intelligence, you're better at navigating conflict, building relationships, working in teams, even just avoiding unnecessary drama. You can handle stress better because you understand what's triggering you. You can motivate yourself and understand what motivates others. It's a skill that just makes life smoother, you know? It lets you actually get stuff done instead of getting tangled up in feelings.
Okay. What are the main components of emotional intelligence?
All right, so there's usually four main things people talk about. First is self awareness, knowing your own emotions, then self management, being able to control impulsive feelings and behaviors. Next is social awareness, picking up on emotions in others, being empathetic. And finally, relationship management, using that understanding to build and maintain good relationships. They all build on each other, really. You can't effectively manage your relationships if you don't even know what you're feeling. It's like a little pyramid.
How can someone improve their self-awareness?
That's a good question. It's not always easy, honestly. A lot of it is just paying attention, like really paying attention to your body. You know, what happens physically when you're stressed? Do you clench your jaw? Does your stomach hurt? Recognizing those physical cues is a big one. Journaling can help, just writing down your thoughts and feelings, even if it feels silly. Mindfulness meditation is good too, helps you observe your thoughts without getting swept away by them. And honestly, just asking trusted friends for honest feedback can be brutal, but really helpful. It's tough to see yourself clearly sometimes. Don't do any of those sound like things you've tried?
Why is understanding emotions so important?
Me, right? We often treat them like something we need to suppress or ignore, but they're actually incredibly valuable information. They're signals. If you're angry, that tells you something's being violated. If you're anxious, that tells you there's a perceived threat. If you understand what those emotions are telling you, you can address the underlying problem instead of just reacting blindly. Ignoring your emotions is like ignoring a warning light on your car. Eventually, something's going to break down. It's also important for connecting with other people. Empathy hinges on understanding emotions, both theirs and your own.
How does emotional intelligence affect decision making?
Okay, this is where it gets really interesting. A lot of people think good decisions are purely logical, but that's rarely true. Emotions are always part of the mix. Someone with high emotional intelligence can recognize how their feelings are influencing their choices and adjust accordingly. They aren't ruled by impulse, but they also aren't dismissing their gut feeling entirely. They can weigh the pros and cons more objectively because they're aware of their own biases and emotional baggage. It's like adding a layer of realism to the equation. You're not just looking at the facts, you're looking at how those facts make you feel and why. Does that track?
What impact does emotional intelligence have on relationships?
Huge impact. Seriously, massive. It's pretty much the foundation of healthy relationships, honestly. If you can understand your own emotions and communicate them effectively, and if you can understand and empathize with your partner's emotions, that's huge. It allows for better conflict resolution. You're less likely to lash out, more likely to listen, fosters trust and intimacy. It builds stronger bonds. Low emotional intelligence in a relationship, that's usually where you see a lot of miscommunication, resentment, and just general unhappiness. It's kind of like trying to build a house on sand, you know? It just won't last.
Can emotional intelligence be learned and developed?
Um, it's not something you're just born with. It's a skill, and like any skill, it can be improved with practice. It takes effort, though. It's not like reading a book and suddenly becoming an emotional genius. It's about consistently working on self awareness, practicing empathy, and learning to manage your reactions. There are courses, workshops, books, even therapy that can help. But honestly, just making a conscious effort to pay attention to your own emotions and the emotions of others is a good start. It's like going to the gym for your brain in a way. Consistent work yields results.
How does empathy strengthen communication?
Okay. So empathy isn't just about feeling sorry for someone, right? It's about genuinely trying to understand their perspective, what it's like to be in their shoes. And when you can do that, your communication changes. You listen more actively because you're trying to understand, not just waiting for your turn to talk. You ask clarifying questions to make sure you're getting it right. You choose your words more carefully because you're aware of how they might be received. You validate their feelings, even if you don't agree with them. It creates a safe space for open and honest dialogue where both people feel heard and understood. It moves communication from being transactional, just exchanging information, to being relational, building connection.
Why do people struggle to control their emotions?
That's a big question. There's a lot of reasons, honestly. A lot of it comes down to upbringing. If you grew up in an environment where emotions were suppressed or dismissed, you probably didn't learn healthy coping mechanisms. Sometimes it's a neurological thing. Some people are just naturally more reactive. Trauma can play a huge role, as can things like stress, anxiety, and depression. And sometimes it's just a lack of awareness. People genuinely don't realize how their emotions are impacting their behavior. It's kind of like being on autopilot. It takes work to recognize the patterns and learn to interrupt them. What do you think are some of the biggest reasons?
How
How do you interrupt those patterns, you mean? Okay, good question. It's not easy, but it's possible. First, you got to catch yourself in the moment. Recognize the physical signs of escalating emotions, racing heart, clenched fists, shallow breathing, then take a pause. Even just a few seconds can make a difference. Deep breaths can help calm your nervous system. You can also try reframing your thoughts, challenging negative or distorted thinking. And sometimes it's just about removing yourself from the situation temporarily. Go for a walk, listen to music, whatever helps you de stress. It's like hitting the reset button, giving yourself a chance to respond instead of react. It takes practice, but it gets easier over time. Does that make sense?
How does emotional intelligence affect communication styles?
Oh, big time. Someone with high emotional intelligence is going to communicate very differently than someone who's emotionally unaware. They're likely to be more assertive, but not aggressive, able to express their needs and opinions clearly and respectfully. They'll be better at active listening, actually hearing what the other person is saying, not just waiting for their turn to talk. They're more attuned to nonverbal cues, body language, tone of voice, and can adjust their communication style accordingly. They'll also be better at recognizing and responding to the emotional state of the other person, adapting their approach to create a more empathetic connection. Someone with low emotional intelligence might be more prone to passive aggressive behavior, defensiveness, or just shutting down completely. It really shapes the whole dynamic, you know?
Okay, thank you, Maya, for sharing your valuable insights on emotional intelligence and why it matters. I appreciate your perspective. And thank you, everyone else, for watching. I hope this session helped you understand emotional intelligence better. I'll see you in the next live stream.
Oh, all right. Glad I could help, Umar. Sounds like a good session. And to everyone watching, yeah, hope you got something out of it.